Nick Saban has retired. Why are we talking about that on Locked On Big 12? Well, I'll tell you, because it trickles down to Locked On Big 12. And that's not because there may be a replacement out of the Big 12. Lance Leipold's not at the top of this conversation, or Chris Kleiman, or anybody, any coach, Matt Campbell from this league. However, what this could do is domino its way into affecting us. And what it does is takes away one of the nation's most prominent dynasties, or at least takes away the catalyst to one of the nation's most prominent dynasties. Here's a great tweet from Chris Lowe. That's Colo ESPN. One of the greatest runs in college football history is over. That within itself is a boost to any and every, not just Big 12 team, but every team in America. There is one major player year in and year out, the last 15 years in college football, it is Alabama. Who's the best program in the last 15 years? Alabama. Who's the best coach of all time? Nick Saban. It is monumental that a coach of this caliber would retire. It's the biggest retirement maybe of my lifetime. 297 wins, 71 losses, top 5 all time. Guy's got, 6 national championships, has been mowing through those in both Alabama and LSU. That's so stupid impressive. How he has dominated college football. And guess what Nick Saban can't do anymore? Dominate college football. This opens up a path at the very top. We have been talking on this show about how the Big 12 can prosper within its own. How can this team beat that team, become relevant? How can this team become a Clemson or this team become a Washington? Well, now one of those pieces that was right at the very top of college football that was making it so tough for any Big 12 team or ACC team or even Big 10 team or Pac-12 team to get there, one of those pieces, that key cog is gone. The cornerstone to dynasties in modern college football is no longer there. With Nick Saban's shocking retirement, by the way, I didn't see this coming. I don't think anybody did. With his retirement, the door is open not just for an SEC team either. With a 12-team expanded college football playoff, there was an even better chance that you were going to face an Alabama. There's an even better chance the Big 12 has 3 teams in there, that one of those is going to have to run up against Alabama, and that might be gone now. If it is, I like our chances a whole lot more. What's more, if Nick Saban retires and Steve Sarkisian takes over and Jim Harbaugh goes to the NFL and Kalen DeBoer goes to Seattle Seahawks, and you look around and you think, oh, shoot, all the college football playoff coaches are gone. What does that change? And then what if Dan Lanning takes the Texas job? What if Dan Lanning takes the Alabama job? And then maybe Steve Sarkisian wants to go back to the Pacific Northwest and goes to Oregon. And I know those are hypothetical things, but this is the biggest domino to fall in college football in the last 2 decades. And I want to prepare you. I want to make sure that you're not shocked when some things of this magnitude do happen that help even the playing field in college football. That is the statement. That is the thesis here. Nick Saban's retirement evens the playing field in college football. It makes things more fair. He had a cheat code at Alabama, and I don't care who I am. I don't know if I'm Dabo Sweeney, if I'm Dan Lanning, if I'm Jimbo Fisher, which would never happen. I don't want to take over for the legend because the expectation is a national championship in year 1 or in year 2 or in year 3 or in year 4. It's an expectation. And even a prominent program like Michigan had not won one since 1997. And whoever is asked to go to Alabama next is going to have to win one right away. That level of pressure, in my opinion, is going to crumble the next coach there. Whoever has to take care of whoever has to help build Alabama. Build is the right word, because think about the guys who are going to enter the transfer portal who only went to Bama to play for Saban. Think about the fans. Alabama went from 25,000 students to 40,000 students on campus in the last 15 years because of Nick Saban. He made that place over $1 billion, almost guaranteed, and that is gone. Guys, I was covering Baylor when Kim Mulkey left. And this is as close as I can get to this magnitude. When she left, there was a quick realization. Players don't go to a university very often. This is a true story. They don't very often go to university because they're proud as a high schooler, 17-year-old, as a recruit, because they're proud of what it means to be Alabama. And you think, oh, it's stupid. That's wrong. No. Think about the kids from California that went to Alabama. The kids who grew up a Georgia fan, but thought that Alabama was a better opportunity. Why was it a better opportunity? To play for Nick Saban. There are a few who live in state and grew up Alabama fans, but I'd say 80% of the roster probably didn't grow up in state rooting for the Tide. That's probably right? Like the Texas kid that grew up in DeSoto and decides to go play for USC. That's not like a That wasn't a pride thing. He was, wow, I've always wanted to play at USC. No, you got recruited there. You got enticed by a head coach. You got enticed by a staff, by a Nick Saban. That's why you're at Alabama. You are not there. If there is no Nick Saban at Alabama, if there's not that guy who recruited you there, is there enough reason for you to stay? Especially when a Kirby Smart calls. Yeah. Or when Texas calls, or when Oregon calls, or when a Utah calls and says, you know what? Why don't you come here? We'll play in a conference where you can compete week in and week out against and a truly even playing field. That's why I think this move is going to have a ripple effect that hurts the program at Alabama, and maybe, depending on who they hire as head coach, hurts somebody else, which hurts somebody else, which hurts somebody else. Anything, any little detail, it's going to help. It's going to help. I love it. Goodbye, Nick Saban. Congrats. Thanks for all the stuff you did for college football. I liked him. I rooted for him. I did. I know. I'm sadistic. This has been and always will be. Thank you. Thank you for listening today and every day. Come back tomorrow. We'll talk about more sports. What do you say, huh? Locked on. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.